And welcome back to our Christmas week edition of Central Valley Business. I'm Mike Scott. We're being seen live around the world today on centralvalleytalk.com. I do appreciate your taking time out of this busy holiday week to be with us. Patrick Furlong is my next guest from Keller Williams Commercial Real Estate. Patrick, Merry Christmas early.
Well, thanks, Mike. Same to you. It is a Merry Christmas. It's time for being grateful for everything that we have, and looking forward. I'm leaving on Sunday to go to Seattle to see my 4 children up there.
I was born in Seattle.
Oh, you were?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I'm a Tacoma native, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time up there.
Thank you.
All right. I asked you before we went on if this was a slow time for commercial real estate, and you said, no, it's usually pretty consistent year-round.
Well, my business is it doesn't come to you, you go get it. So, if you want to be busy, you can be as busy as you want to be. In other words, you have to be aggressive and go find business.
So you hustle.
Yeah. So I'm lucky in that I have a special niche that I've developed over the years, and it works well for me, and I just have a consistent deal flow. And a lot of times at this time of year, there'll be sellers that want to get the niche that I work in. I specialize in acquiring single-tenant properties for farmers and ranchers. I don't buy or sell farm or ranch land, but when farmers and ranchers are going through that process, they're going to have a big tax bite, so they want to do a 1031 exchange that allows them to defer the taxes. And typically they want management-free properties, like I just acquired a CVS pharmacy for a client in Arizona. So my client, the buyer, has no responsibilities for the building. CVS pays for everything, and they write my client a big, nice check for about a lot of money every month.
That's the deal to have.
So, yeah. So the people that are selling that property, they were anxious to get it done. They wanted to get it done before the end of the year. That's from a negotiating standpoint. You like motivated sellers. Those are the kind of questions as a broker, an experienced broker, you're asking, so you can find out how much leverage you're going to have and things like that. My whole thing, this is all I do, is work with farmers and ranchers who are exchanging into commercial real estate. And there's a reason I do that, because I really am focused on finding the best property at the best price with the lowest amount of risk for them. And there's a very thorough process I go through to do that. And I acquire properties for my clients all over the country. I have never acquired a property in Fresno for any of my clients, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So people ask me all the time, well, there's a thing over on this corner, what do you think? I go, I have no clue. But if you want to know what CVS pharmacies are selling for all over the country, I do know that. Or if you want to know what a McDonald's ground lease is selling for all over the country, I do know that. If you want to know what a Burger King's selling for all over the country, I do know that.
I thought those were all franchisee owners.
The investors own the buildings.
Okay.
So and you can, like for Burger King, you can have a corporate-owned store, you can have a franchise-owned store. And you can have a small franchisee that maybe owns 4 or 5, or you can have a franchisee that owns 500. And which would you rather have as your tenant? 500. Okay. So you have to be able to know all the nuances and how that's going to affect the pricing. So let's say that you had $1 million you wanted to invest, and I acquired a Wendy's. I've just acquired a Wendy's for a client up in Michigan. And so he's going to get a 6% return on his money month in, month out. It's a franchisee, but they're a very big company. I think they have 400 Wendy's. They're either the largest or the second largest Wendy's. They'll probably go public at some point. So a very secure investment from my client. Has absolutely no responsibilities for, if the toilet breaks or the roof leaks, it doesn't have to worry about that. The tenant has to take care of all that. And my client just gets a nice check each month.
Nice. And you probably get a part of that too, right?
Well, I get a commission, definitely.
There you go.
I get a commission.
You don't work for free.
That's right, I don't. But
yeah,
it's a good business for everybody.
Maybe you're not the right person to ask, because I know you're not a tax man, you're a real estate guy, but you might know. There was a Taco Bell near my house, and I've seen this happen all over the city. Perfectly good Taco Bell. They tear it down and build a new one. it's a different style. But somebody told me that after so many years, a business doesn't have enough depreciation anymore, that they need to build a new one to take advantage of the tax advantages. Is that true?
Well, yes. If let's say they bought that building for $700,000 20 years ago, or $500,000, and say $400,000 of it was building and improvements that they could depreciate. There are some ways to accelerate that depreciation, but most commercial real estate, you have about 37 years. So let's say now they've depreciated it all down, the rents have gone up. So they've got a lot of money coming in that they're getting taxed on. Now, do they want to tear that building down and build a brand new building? Only if they're going to get a lot more rent. So nobody's in the 100% tax bracket. So depreciation is going to shelter income. There's some passive investment rules and things like that you have to deal with. But typically, if you've got an old style Taco Bell, particularly those old little brick ones,
right.
It may well make sense for that property owner to knock that building down and build a much bigger one. Maybe he's going to get twice the rent. So that could be.
So it may not have been Taco Bell that did it. It was the owner of the building that did it.
Well, the owner of the building would have negotiated with the business owner. And it could have been that the old Taco Bell owner, maybe his franchise agreement was up. Maybe he just decided he didn't want to be there anymore, retired, sold the business. What happens a lot is, in fact, with this client of mine that acquired this Wendy's, it was owned by a smaller franchisee, and this big company came in as a franchisee, and they bought him, and they bought another 100 Wendy's, and so they're going in and they're improving all the stores, upgrading them, doing a lot of things to bring more business in. So the building owner and the tenant negotiated that deal. So the building owner got all his costs and everything, and he said, okay, it's going to cost me $1 million to build this new building, let's say, and I want such and such a return on my money. That converts into a lease rate. Usually within that lease, you'll have increases every 5 years, whatever you can negotiate. And the owner of the business is going to say, well, I'm doing $600,000 a year worth of business now, but if I build this new building, I can do $1.5 million worth of business. I'm going to pay $60,000 a year more in rent, but I'm going to make $100,000 more on the bottom line. It's all in the numbers.
I'm glad there are people like you that run those numbers, because numbers drive me crazy.
Yeah, well, that's definitely what I do. It's all when I went to business school, one of my teachers said, "Get dirty in the numbers." The answer's there. Get dirty in the numbers.
It's true.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Patrick, how can folks reach you at Keller Williams?
My phone number is 559-213-7767.
If I called you on Christmas Day, will you answer your phone?
I will.
I bet he will, too.
I will. Or Christmas night or any other time.
Any other time. Yeah. Thank you for coming in today.
My pleasure, Mike.
Merry
Thanks for
Christmas.
having me.
Are you online, did you say?
Yeah, I've got a website.
Yeah. Just search Patrick Furlong and Keller Williams, and you'll probably pop up.
Yeah, maybe some other things.
Oh.
No.
All right, Merry Christmas, everyone. We will be back with more on Central Valley Talk.